A cracked computer screen, and today I'm going to attempt a quick and dirty fix on it. This particular crack is in the bezel area of the screen. It's not in the actual display area, which begins right around this black line. So given that, the age of the computer, the replacement cost of a used computer that is fully functional on eBay, about $500, I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to use a windshield crack repair kit and see if this liquid will improve this crack on this screen. Of course, it's not going to look perfect, but that's okay. The computer is functional at the time, at this moment. I just want to prevent this crack from becoming larger, and I don't want to have someone hurt their finger rubbing it over this cracked area. So this kit is not meant for a computer, but let's give it a shot and see how it goes. Step one is to just clean off the cracked area according to the directions. Step two is squeeze onto the area some of this resin. These little bottles, you just have to twist off the cap here. And let's apply a little bit of resin. I don't want to get it into the electronics. There's an open hole even here where I can see some of the printed circuit boards in the computer. Let's see how this works out. Alright, step number 3 is to apply this plastic film over the area. I imagine this is just to spread out the liquid. Alright, it's not too bad. I want to keep it off the area where the actual display exists. I don't want to mess with that area. I'll just keep everything on the bezel. With one area covered, I'm going to use another piece of plastic to cover another area where cracks have spread a little further.
Apply some more resin to this area, and then cover with a small piece of this plastic material. Alright.
Step number 4, try to get all the air out from underneath the plastic. I've kind of done that, I'll do that a bit more. And step number 5 is interesting. I have to expose this area to UV light in order for the resin to cure. I don't have a handheld UV light, so I'm going to take this out into the sun. The laptop is now sunbathing. UV light should cure this resin in about 10 to 30 minutes. The laptop's been hanging out in the sun for a while. Well, it's kind of cloudy today, but you can Google this. Clouds do not block typically 100% of the UV light. Let's take this guy inside now and follow the next steps. The resin here on top of the plastic is dried, so I think we're pretty well cured. Let's pull off this plastic. Let's see what we got here. And scrape off excess resin. What's that? Maybe am I not fully cured? Final result, I removed quite a bit of resin, maybe more than I should have. You can see the crack in the bezel area is still visible, but it feels a lot more smooth. That is comforting. I'm not going to cut anyone on this glass. And maybe I've strengthened the glass a bit, prevented cracks from progressing further. Also good news, and done only for $10. What I really might try is applying one more coat. I think this looked aesthetically better before I started removing all of this material. I might remove less next time. I still have some resin in the cracks, but it's not on the surface. Follow me along if you'd like, and I'll apply one more coat of this and see how it looks with a second coat applied and removing less resin at the final step. Trying this one more time back out in the UV light. We'll see if we get an even better result this second time around. The second coat has now cured. Let's pull off this plastic and see what we have here. Nice. This time I'm not going to remove the resin that remains around this area. It looks aesthetically better this way. Looking at the computer from this angle, looks pretty good. Yeah, you can see it's cracked, but it feels very, very smooth. Incredibly smooth. Let's see if it can handle an opening and closing. Nice. Still looks good. Alright, so I think this was worth a $10 repair on an older laptop. I wouldn't recommend this for your new iPhone or new laptop necessarily, but to extend the life of an older laptop and make it look a little bit better in the meantime, I'm happy with this. The repair on the other computer worked so well that my wife also wanted me to fix her computer, which has some cracking up in this corner, even a hole in the glass bezel. This was caused by our stupid cat biting the screen. I'm going to follow the same process using the same kit to prevent these cracks from spreading and make this surface a bit more smooth. Resin's applied, computer's sunbathing to cure that resin. After curing, the laptop still powers on. That's a good sign. Let's remove this plastic and see how the repair looks. I'm not going to scrape off any resin except maybe the little stray drops. Like this guy will pop off. I'll get that later. He is moving around. But the repair does look pretty good. And it feels outstanding. It's perfectly smooth. Of course, the little hole in the screen is still present, but we're not easily going to get rid of that. It's a lot better than it was. The alternative here was to replace the entire screen, which could be done by buying a screen and putting it on myself. Those screens can be purchased, at least the touch sensor and the glass, for around $200 for this particular model. Of course, if you do that repair yourself, you risk completely destroying the computer without the wrong technique and tools to do all that. In my experience, that's been exactly the problem. Or you can hire a professional to do it for you. That's around $300–400. Really not worth it for this older laptop. What we've done here is for $10 extend the useful life of the laptop and make it a little safer while it is being used. I'm perfectly happy with this final result for our use on this computer. I hope this helps you with your project.